Nobody gives a shit about you. I'm not trying to be rude, not trying to hurt your feelings, not trying to shock you and go for something clickbaity or anything. I'm just trying to set you free. It should be liberating to really humbly accept that nobody's thinking about you, not as much as you think other people are thinking about you, which is a form of self indulgence. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be so up your own ass. Well, everyone's thinking about me. What an egomaniac. And I'm guilty of this too. I'm guilty, guilty as charged. I mean, it creeps me out when I post an Instagram story and the first three people who consistently always look at my Instagram story, I'm like, ew, what? But it doesn't mean anything. It's just they open their phone up at that time. It's whatever. It's not personal. Nobody cares. No one can possibly care because other people are way too focused on themselves. They're too busy with their own lives to care. You're not being scrutinized as much as you think, as much as you punish yourself and scrutinize yourself. You're not that outside force isn't necessarily there. A lot of people are paralyzed by decisions because what will my mom think? What will this person think? What will dude, no one gives a shit. Like, so you might as well be yourself and show up and be your authentic self and be the main character of your story. Because no one else is gonna give a fuck. They're too busy building their own dreams or they're stuck in their own matrix. So take the red pill and get yourself out. I think the moment it crystallized for me that no one gave a shit, the channel opened up. I was liberated. I was free. I realized that I'm here for a short while. It's a blip. I have to enjoy what I do. I have to have fun. I can't waste any more time, and I've wasted years strategizing or minimizing myself, trying to be invisible. And I got those results out of it, out of minimizing myself, while other people were the main character in their story and they were able to prosper and grow. What feels like, in spite of me, unacceptable. So focus on your own path. Prioritize your goals, your dream, your vision. When you stop worrying about other people's opinions, you can focus more on your own goals and aspiration. You can scratch when you're itchy. You can do what makes you tick. I think many successful people attribute their achievements to focusing on their own path rather than seeking approval of others. Whether if it's athletes or movie stars or stand-up comedians, maybe there is that sort of like love me, validate me, maybe that is there, but they have to go up on stage and be willing to bomb every single time. The reality of human nature is most people are preoccupied with their own issues, insecurities, and ambitions. That's people's own self-interest. Self-interest. They're not thinking about you. They might want to step on you to get ahead, but they're not worried about what you look like in that shot. I get called every name in the book by showing up on here and spilling my guts out. I get called every name, every name. I've said it before on this podcast. I've been scrutinized, but there's still nothing anybody can ever say that I haven't already said to myself because I'm in my own head. And so are other people. They're their own worst critic. Are you more focused on your own problems or judging others? Ask yourself that. I'm more focused on my own problems. I don't have time to be thinking about other people. I really just don't. I really don't. I envy other people. I'm confident enough to admit that. Like if someone has the results I want and I want it, I envy that. And it's like I want to do what it takes to achieve that. It's a healthy competitive jealousy. But outside of that, I ain't thinking about their kids. I ain't thinking about I have my own kids to raise. I ain't thinking about their job if they're going to get that promotion. I'm not thinking about, wow, they're on Instagram. Like what does that say about them or nothing? Nothing. I'm too preoccupied with my own self, my own self-interests. So you have to overcome the fear of failure, the fear of letting your mom or your grandma or your aunt down or your cousin or your brother or your friend or your cousin's best friend's wife's roommate, whatever, other people. Embrace failure as part of the journey, and you can't fail and be late towards your own journey. Nobody's paying as much of attention to you as you think. And when you accept that, when you swallow that, you have more room to fail forward and learn. This is how you build self-confidence. This is how you build self-reliance. Rely on your own validation and build confidence from within rather than seeking it externally. I committed a long time ago, and I attribute this to a lot of my success. I committed to disappointing those around me. I was not going to be the color in the crayon box that they thought I was. I was a bright, shining color. And people try to dim that light. People try to throw rocks at you because they're insecure, and that's their own voice in their own head. Had an alarm. But practice self affirmations, set personal goals and celebrate your achievements. When you externalize the internal, the vision, when you make it real, that reinforces growth, that reinforces that mindset, that reinforces progress. It's a very healthy thing. So don't rely on anybody else's validation. Rely only on your own and build confidence from within. I highly recommend it. Authenticity over approval. Form genuine relationships based on mutual respect and shared values rather than trying to impress others. Savannah, if you're watching this, thank you. And I love you and I appreciate you and I miss you on YouTube. Where are you at, girl? I know you're making it happen. Like, I see you. But I'm not thinking about her in a way that's like a detriment to me. I'm not trying to impress her. I'm not trying to seek her validation. I'm not praying for her downfall. I'm being authentic over anybody else's approval. And when you have those authentic relationships, you guys can grow together and prosper together and do things that you never thought you could before. Independently, shared suffering together. What's that quote? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. Something like that. So take risks without the burden of others' opinions. You can make bolder decisions that align with your true desires. Oh, man. I'm going to say that again. I have that written down here. Without the burden of others' opinions, you can make bolder decisions that align with your true desires. And that's a wavelength I really want to chat about in the future. Your desires. That's a word I never really fucked with growing up. Desires. It sounded spicy. But the vision, the goals, the ideas stems from desires in the first place. Passion stems from desires. Make bolder decisions. Unburden yourself from the weight of others' opinions. Take risks. Entrepreneurs who take risks often do because they prioritize their vision over external validation. And we admire the Steve Jobs. We admire the Jesus Christs. We even admire the prime peak Kanye Wests, who were radical, but they were unabashedly themselves and they gave no fucks. So focus on what matters. Spend your energy on what truly matters to you, whether it's your career, hobbies, or relationships. Whatever that is for you. You don't have to be an overachiever. If all you want to do is fuck off and disappear and get off the grid, do that. Stop listening to this and do that. Focus on what matters to you. Don't worry about what I think. Don't ever worry about what I think. And the truth is, I ain't thinking about you anyways. We discussed a lot in a very short amount of time. I think there's freedom in realizing that nobody gives a shit about you. Focus on your own path. Embrace failure. Cultivate, build, manifest your own confidence. Form authentic relationships with people. Don't do some psyop shit with your enemies and keep them close and play these games and fuck all that. I don't have time for that. Make bold decisions that align with your desires and prioritize what matters. And next time you hesitate about this and you're stuck in your own head about what other people think of you and it's paralyzing you, remember, nobody gives a shit about you. Not as much as you fucking are obsessed in your own head. They're obsessed in their own head. They have their own dreams, they have their own goals, or they have their own failures that they're ruminating on. Live your life authentically. Start today. Focus on your own journey and let go of that fear of judgment. 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 What someone's going to think of me. They're going to get mad at me. They're going to get disappointed in me. Fucking disappoint them. Disappoint them. If they're that fragile, you don't need them in your life. There have been a few things that people have said to me along my journey that I've never let go, that disturbs me to this day. And I can ruminate and fixate and hyperfixate on that, and it just destroys me, and it destroys my momentum. But then I watch them living their best life, and they don't even remember what the fuck they told me. Why am I holding on to that? If you can relate to this, let me know in the comments below. I love you guys. Let it go. No one gives a flying fuck. That's a good thing. Keep a force field around your heart, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next video.